Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. The show is all about public, private, and blockchain companies, how the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. Almost half of the growth in the fast-moving consumer goods industry over the next 3 years will take place in emerging markets. And RedCloud is using generative AI to unlock the future of B2B commerce in these emerging markets. And with me is Floyd, the CEO of RedCloud, and also Stan Mlatac, the CFO. So great to have you here at the NASDAQ. Let's start, Justin. I mean, what do you expect the impact of AI to be on the fast-moving consumer goods market?
I think there's three things, Jane. First of all, is the predictability of purchasing patterns at the point of sale between manufacturers of fast-moving consumer goods. So think of everybody from some of the great brands you have here in the US, like Pepsi-Cola, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, for example. These brands want to grow their footprint across Africa, across Latin America. They want as many consumers as possible to enjoy their products. One of the biggest challenges they have, of course, is how do they get those products into the right retailers at the right time at the right price. So generative AI is a way for them to be able to do that. It's a way for them to be able to predict very accurately the kind of right pricing they should be offering, that's going to sell well, enables them to be able to guess inventory, to be able to figure out, or take the guesswork out of inventory actually, and be able to figure out kind of what products can be made available when and how at the retail level. I mean, across Africa alone, for example, I think there's over 250 million small micro enterprises. These are the people, you've got them here in New York, you've got the kind of local convenience stores, the local kind of supermarket.
Yeah, your pizza joint, something like that.
Absolutely,
right?
But then you've got other interesting businesses like, the coffee shops, the hairdressers, the barbers, all these places offer, beverages, food, drink as part of their kind of delivery program. And so there's a tremendous opportunity for those brands to grow their footprint into those kinds of retailers and be able to get their products, as I've said, at the right time, the right place, at the right price, which is going to enable consumers to enjoy those brands much more.
Yeah, so why should US brands pay attention to these emerging markets?
Short answer, $1 trillion. So $1 trillion is the number that Euromonitor have based the emerging market growth for FMCG brands certainly over the next 2 years. And that's really driven by the kind of rise in middle-class consumers, but it's also driven by, to a certain extent, by the rise in internet connectivity. So now suddenly everybody's much more connected, they're much more informed about what's available, not available. I know it sounds extraordinary, but hundreds of millions of people across Africa have never even heard of Pepsi-Cola, believe it or not. For the first time, they're learning about these kinds of great products, and they want these products. They often go to a store and they say, hey, can I buy this great product I've just heard about? I've just seen it on the kind of US news channels, and how do I get it? And the answer is, well, we don't stock it, but we got something else instead. So those brands want to change that, I mean, because this is, when you look at their growth over the next 3 years for any of these kinds of brands, almost with 50% of it coming from those markets is kind of do or die stuff for them.
So much potential growth there.
Absolutely, yeah. And do or die stuff, because I think if they're not first to market and they're not able to get in the market very efficiently, it makes it very difficult for them.
Yeah. Now, Stan, the company right now is privately funded. Yep. Do you plan an IPO, or where do you want to take the company?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So we are privately funded as well as backed by the UK government with their investment arms. Yeah, and before replying to IPO, I think it's good to set up the scene a bit. So 2022 last year was when we launched our first country, so Nigeria, and it was the sign of hypergrowth. We basically have achieved like 1 billion of trading volume for the month of December, annualized volume, and 2023 is around consolidating in Nigeria while establishing a clear path to profitability. That's key for us. While launching South Africa, Brazil, and Argentina. The idea is as well to launch new products around payments, around financial services, around data and AI, as Justin mentioned, as well as looking to other opportunities. So the US, we had a very interesting conversation here, because our technology, even though we are serving Latin America and Africa for now, is country agnostic. So now, what we are doing at the moment is we're seeking for the right partner in terms of institutional investors, so whether they are private equity or venture capital. And what's key for us is to find the right partner, not only from a money perspective, but from a network and expertise on both sides to benefit from our expertise and their network and vice versa. So an IPO is like the combination of the markets being ready, the investor being okay with it, and the shareholders, all of the shareholders and the boards being aligned with that, and that's going to come in time.
Yeah. And what would you say is what separates you from the competition?
So we welcome the competition at RedCloud because the opportunity is absolutely massive. It's an untapped and unserved market that we are after. Now we have, I think, even if we have common goals, our DNA is way different than our competitors. I would describe that in two buckets. So on one side, you have the competitors that are backed by large brands. So Coca-Cola, Heineken, AppBev, they have their own app to go to the whole supply chain. Now imagine if you are a retailer and you then need one app for Coca, one app for Pepsi, one app for AppBev. So that's one side of the competition, which we think potentially will be set up for failure. The other side of the competitors are the ones that are the mega distributor. They want to do everything, and they need to invest in warehouses, in trucks, potentially land with their own money, and which means the growth will be way much lower than us. Mm-hmm. At RedCloud, we think that we need to be open to all brands. We need to be brand agnostic and brand neutral on one side, and on the other side, we think that all of those partners should be. We want to connect the partners rather than trying to replace them. Okay. So that's the main differences.
Yeah, and Justin, finally, why are so many of these micro and small businesses, we talked about the pizza places and the hairdressers, things like that, why are they not as digitally connected as they could be?
There's three reasons mainly, Jane. I mean, first of all, I mean, certainly across Africa and Latin America, you know, connection onto the internet has actually been a challenge. I mean, you've probably heard the latest recent news, some of the great work that Elon Musk is doing with Starlink mm-hmm. to connect Africa. Actually, I think it's incredible what he set out to achieve there, and we're really comfortable kind of partnering with that kind of relationship and to bring this kind of connectivity to retailers for the very first time. You know, data is actually one of the most expensive services you can acquire in Africa today, and it's out of reach, strangely, for a lot of people. And so that's going to alleviate that problem, and it's going to mean that actually retailers for the very first time can actually use the kind of scale and the breadth of the internet to actually start to trade super efficiently. They can join, you know, the kind of open commerce highway. They can start to buy, trade, sell, pay for goods online from their distributors and from their manufacturers in a kind of almost like a consumer type way, which is impossible. Businesses want to buy onto the internet, and when you're in the business of selling FMCG products, it's all about the buying. Yeah. You get your buying right, you sell smart. Yeah. And so that's what they're focused on. So the first time there's a real platform that enables them to just buy a lot better and a lot smarter than they're able to do today, using the internet to be able to do that.
Oh, well, it's exciting. Exciting for you and exciting for these emerging markets.
Very much so, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Justin and Stan. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you for having us on. Thank you.
Lameness issues, joint pain, and osteoarthritis can be difficult to treat and debilitating for an animal's health and well-being. Take control of lameness issues and joint pain. Introducing Spring with OsteoCushion technology. With just one injection, Spring with OsteoCushion technology targets the root cause of lameness issues, joint pain, and osteoarthritis, helping animals do what they do best.
PetVivo has a unique and innovative tool that treats osteoarthritis in animals. And with me is the CEO, John Lai, to explain more about this and also some progress you've made. I guess it's been a couple months since we talked, and there was a recent peer review article that was favorable for your Spring technology. Tell me about that article, who wrote it, what did it say?
Sure. So Dr. Tamara Grubb wrote the article. She is a professor at Washington State University. Her area of expertise is pain management for canines. And she's also the president-elect of the International Veterinary Academy of Pain Management, which is a very prestigious organization worldwide. And to our surprise, we didn't know anything about the article that was going in. So it's in today's Veterinary Practice Journal. That's the name of the article, and it's a peer review article. And what it basically stated was naming some of the newer products that are coming out to the market, some of the tools that can go into the veterinary doctor's toolbox. And the key takeaway for ours was that our product, Spring with OsteoCushion technology, was addressing the root cause of the problem of the bone-on-bone contact with osteoarthritis, while other products are more focused on symptoms. The second big takeaway was the fact that she said our Spring could be used as a frontline use product. That means, it can be grabbed first as well as NSAIDs, just as equally. And the third takeaway was there's about 83 million dogs in the United States, and 5% or so of those dogs cannot take NSAIDs. They have reactions to it, negative reactions. So our product, Spring, is a really good alternative for that. And she will be talking more about that at upcoming conferences, but this was a very good article to have. And this journal only goes to veterinary doctors. So it's going right to our audience that we needed to. Yeah, it was a nice surprise because
well, it's going to be interesting. You didn't even know it was coming out.
Yeah.
And so it's like a totally objective look at Spring and what it's doing.
Correct. And I've never talked to her before you even met her. So
okay, that's great. So how many clinics are you in now with this product?
We recently gave an update to the street that we're over 450 clinics as of June 30th, and we're in 47 states. So that's quite the accomplishment because I think we had about 50 clinics last September. So we're really making good inroads. And with Dr. Grubb's article, as well as multiple studies coming in September and October, at least 3, that will give further evidence to the efficacy of the product in canines and felines, which are, allows our salespeople to really present data to the veterinary doctors in those fields.
Well, that's amazing how many clinics you've added just in less than a year.
Yeah. And it's a testimonial to the effectiveness of the product because, it's really hard introducing a very disruptive technology like we have, innovative, because it's quite the paradigm shift that the veterinary doctors learn. And when you're sending product without the data behind it, even though we have over 3,000 animals doing really well on the product, the veterinary doctors have a tendency to use it on the worst case animals. Even though we still have really good results. I mean, the vets that come back and say, wow, John, this is like a miracle product. It's amazing what it's doing. But in their mindset, they automatically put us into the last use category. We tried everything else and nothing else works. So it takes a while and then they start going, well, I'm going to try it on hip dysplasia 6 months later. And then they go, wow, we get great results here. Yeah. So we find after a year in the small animal side, they start really feeling comfortable and they'll prescribe it for everything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's a comfort level, I guess, that needs to be reached before you can get there. So patience is important. Well, what a great report, John, the article and the growth. So congratulations, and we'll see you back here.
Yeah, and I look forward to getting back into the studio. I've been so busy. I haven't been able to travel to New York.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Yep.
Thanks,
thank you.
Okay. The AppTech mission is to deliver a better way for businesses to provide their customers with immersive commerce experiences. And with me is the CEO, Luke D'Angelo, to talk about specifically what AppTech is doing. So great to have you on, Luke.
Jane, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
So let's just give me an overview of what AppTech is, and then we'll dig a little deeper into the business.
Sounds good. AppTech is a fintech company based in sunny Southern California, particularly in the city of Carlsbad.
Oh, yeah.
And what we basically focus on is embedding our technology, our patented intellectual property, into companies that obviously use mobile payment or some sort of mobile payment to their clients. Our mission is basically to help certain customers and many customers provide a seamless way to do business with their clients. So in other words, we help our clients actually maintain a presence with the up-to-date most technology they can have, so they can provide that seamless payment technology.
Okay, so you're kind of the infrastructure behind some of these payment systems that we are using.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of powerful patents.
Yes, we do.
Tell me about that intellectual property that you have.
So we have some very powerful intellectual property. You know, this is something we've been working on for years. It's not something that just blossomed overnight. And our patented technology basically is what we consider the mobile payment as we know it today. A lot of people use it, and a lot of people pay by text and certain URLs delivered to their phone. And specifically, our technology is centered around mobile payments. So it's very powerful. We have, we've been working on it for a substantial amount of time. And now we are deploying it with our system, embedding it into other people's systems so they have that seamless transaction via mobile payment.
Yeah. And all this work has paid off. You become a leader in the payment technology. So break that down. What does that mean exactly?
So a lot of companies, when they're dealing with their merchant services or they're dealing with mobile payment platforms, they go to their bank, whether it's Wells Fargo or Chase. And these folks only have one way to offer it, as well as Stripe and Venmo and some of these other companies that have blossomed over the last several years. What we do is, as the specialty payments leader, what we do is a company comes to us, whether they're young or they're old, and say, listen, AppTech, we would like help on rolling out something more significant so we don't outsource with this guy and we're not caged with a bank's way of doing things. So what we do is we create, under our customers' direction, a custom backend to basically give them the tools that they need to succeed with their customers. And it can be as simple as a simple mobile payment by text, or it can be more complicated by using SMS marketing to generate activities, sales, and create ultimately a transaction. But at the end of the day, it's about creating a custom solution on the back end to give our clients what they need to compete in today's market.
Okay. And this has been 8 years in the making. You've been working on this technology?
Yeah, we have. We started in 2013 and we basically studied the market. We studied our competition. We studied the banks that were trying to break into this arena, and we focused on the banks that have broken into this arena. So it's not something that's popped up overnight. And we're fortunate that we have enough relationships across, not only domestically, but globally, to help implement this very powerful technology. And by doing that, we saved a lot of time, we saved a lot of expense, whereas a lot of our competitors, right, have to spend money to go get clients. We have enough identifiable demand to keep us busy without spending $1 on advertising.
Interesting. And you've also got over 500 citations on the patented technology. So explain for people who aren't familiar with patent law and patents, why is that a significant piece of business?
So that's a good point, Jane. And this is one of the exciting things about AppTech. If a company develops technology and they file a patent on it, they're lucky if they get a few citations or or 5 or what have you. We have over 500 forward citations on our technology. And basically that is companies that are large in scale or small in scale. What they do is they file with the United States Patent and Trade Office, basically a citation that they recognize our technology and they may or may not be using it in their own technology stack. And some of the companies that have given us forward citations are like Google, Apple, Visa, Verizon, AT&T. The list goes on, right? And it's their way of basically disclosing we're using your technology or we may use your technology, but we don't want to get in any trouble by just doing it and copying it and running with it.
I see.
So while companies are out there trying to prove their technology or get to another level by saying, hey, we've done this, our technology has been accepted and embraced in the market on a significant level. And so when we're dealing with sophisticated clients, which are smaller banks, institutions, larger clients, et cetera, it's very important that they realize that we actually have something that's been proven in the marketplace. It's our intellectual property is protected by the patents. And that's one of the things that helps our customers control their own destiny within their own market. So it's very powerful, actually.
Okay.
And it's very exciting. And the best part about that, Jane, is don't take my word for it. People can go to our website, they can look up our patents, and they can go to Google and they can see all the people who've said, wow, yes, check, right? We've done this, we're doing this, et cetera. So it's one of the things that has allowed AppTech to soar above some of our competition.
Interesting. Okay, so what's the future? More strategic partnerships and fintech. When you look ahead, what's your vision?
So one of the great things about going public and being on the NASDAQ is it's created a plethora of potential strategic partnerships, like the Broadnet deal that we signed. Broadnet sends out 75 million messages a day, 600 a second, right? And with customers and strategic partnerships like Broadnet, you can look up our news announcement just over a month ago about Broadnet and who they are and who they service. Our mission is basically to work with small companies who are emerging into the market, as well as the large companies who are trying to better their market. So AppTech is in the fortunate position right now where we are signing, executing, building, and delivering. And that is our mission, that is our mantra, and there is no end in sight. And we couldn't be more happier where we're at this time of the company.
Okay, well, congratulations on your success, and thank you so much for sharing the story of AppTech. I look forward to updates in the future.
Jane, thank you so much. It's very nice to meet you, and AppTech will keep the world posted on what our next steps are.
Please do.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Hapbee wellness tech products are smart devices powered by an app that safely beam ultra-low magnetic signals to your body. And they promise to do things with energy and focus and sleep and all kinds of things. So with me is Yona, Shtern, the CEO, and great to have you back.
Thank you very much.
So let's talk about an update since the last time we talked, the Gray Team Nexus Award. You won that, right? What is that? What does that mean?
The Gray Team is an amazing organization. They're a nonprofit based in Florida, and they work with U.S. military veterans, primarily on addiction recovery and also suicide prevention. They're one of the largest organizations like that. And every year they award something they call the Nexus Award to technologies or tools that are particularly effective as part of their overall protocol. And this year they recognized Hapbee, as their most effective tool for suicide prevention amongst U.S. military veterans.
Interesting, because I know you were really trying to market veterans, so congratulations.
You know what, for us it's less about marketing and more about helping.
Yeah.
And working with outfits like Grey Team lets us reach really a community of users that really needs lots of help.
Yeah, well, and if it does help them, then that kind of takes care of some of the other things.
And
too,
it's exactly it. You know, it's extremely gratifying to listen to the stories firsthand from military vets who say, you know, I can reduce or eliminate substances, I can reduce or eliminate drugs, and I can relax, I can focus, and I can sleep without chemical intervention.
Interesting, yeah. Okay, so, and then also you've got a partnership with TrueMed. What is that about, and is that, can you do health savings accounts with that?
That's exactly what it's about.
Okay.
So TrueMed is a great partner of ours. We've been looking for ways to make Hapbee more accessible to a broader group of people. And obviously, if purchasing a Hapbee and subscribing to the Hapbee service can be applicable to your HSA or your FSA account, it makes it so much easier. And so we're able to facilitate that through TrueMed. Basically, all you do is you check out on our website, on hapbee.com, and you click the button that you want to use your HSA or FSA dollars against it, and you can save up to 30%.
Yeah, so, and you've got the Hapbee device around your neck. There's also a sleep device too. So just kind of bring people who maybe haven't seen us talk before, what products do you have?
So right now we have the neck band, and this is used predominantly for day use. Focus, anxiety, relaxation would be the primary settings that people use this as they go through their day. And then our #1 selling product is our smart sleep pad. It represents about 80% of the products that we're selling today.
Okay.
People use it either when they're sitting during the day, but mostly under their pillows at night. And then they have the Hapbee app, and they can choose whatever sleep setting they want and have a restful sleep without sleep meds.
Well, sleep is very important, so thank you, Yona, for coming back. Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Thanks.